Welcome back to tell us about Beacon Bags. I have here a board member who happens to be Derrick Flynn. Derrick, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Please tell our viewers, what is Beacon Bags?
Beacon Bags is a frontline organization that anti-human trafficking organization, and our mission is to ultimately eradicate human trafficking and provide resources and services to human trafficking survivors, and ultimately make sure that they are provided with the resources necessary so they're never forced to go back out on the street or back to their trafficker due to the lack of resources and due to the help that they deserve.
So obviously we have a problem in Eastern Ontario. Correct?
Yes, very much so.
And we don't realize it, do we?
No.
What areas does Beacon Bags, what areas do you look at? What areas do you try to help?
Well, typically right now we're Leeds and Grenville.
Yes.
But as we've expanded our vision to include the shelter that we're going to be working towards, we consider our region, the Eastern Ontario region. So if we look at from Belleville, Trenton to the Hawkesbury, Cornwall area, east and west, and then north to Pembroke. That's kind of, and part of that is strategic in that we're within an hour and a half driving time of anywhere within that region. So if there's a young lady that needs some respite or a place to go, that we can provide that for her at that time.
So that's the eventual goal of Beacon's Bags is to have a place, a safe place.
Yes.
Where young ladies can go.
Right.
But it's not just young ladies, is it?
No, it's not. There are young men as well that have been trafficked. The young men from the LGBTQ and that community are oftentimes victimized as well. So,
are we? Why don't we know more about this? Why haven't we heard more about this? Why aren't we doing something more?
It's a really good question, and it's a very complex and nuanced answer. But part of it is that we've been groomed through, for lack of a better term, we've been educated through the media and through Hollywood to see human trafficking as something that happens overseas. It happens, to a vulnerable population. But it's all about kidnapping, and we see in social media posts all the time. It's like if you find zip ties on your windshield wipers or white vans in the Walmart parking lot, that's not what not that doesn't ever happen, but that is certainly not what human trafficking looks like. Human trafficking more often than not looks like a boyfriend-girlfriend scenario.
Yes.
That in public everything is rainbows and butterflies, but in behind the scenes that she's being totally coerced and manipulated and controlled in all aspects of her life. And so that's why it's kind of a hidden thing. We don't see it because we don't know what those red flags sort of thing, those signs are, but they're right there.
So we need to be educated.
Absolutely. It's education and awareness is absolutely key.
The other thing, too, is we don't think it's going to happen in our backyard.
Yeah, that's very true.
But it is.
It's very true. And that's ultimately how I got involved a few years ago, that a girl I knew locally was trafficked. And tragically, she's no longer with us. She was a victim.
That's sad.
Of human trafficking. She got out of that, but because of the intersection with drugs and other things, that just made the exit and recovery
that much harder
that much more difficult. There's a lot of barriers to the recovery process.
I would think that there would be. I mean, especially individuals that have grown up in a family that believe that it's okay to prey on young ladies.
Yeah, I often tell people you don't need to teach a wolf how to spot a wounded rabbit, right? And there are people that are hardwired to see those vulnerabilities. And it's not always vulnerabilities, homeless people or people that are poor or, come from broken families. I mean, we all have emotional vulnerabilities that we may not be aware of, but people that are destined, that are hardwired, like I say, to spot those idiosyncrasies, then they can pick up on them, and they can maneuver themselves into a position where they can begin to groom them and build a relationship with them, and then take it to the next step.
Wow. So the home that you're, that the organization Beacon Bags is trying to for it to become a reality for these young ladies, young men. Are you fundraising? What point are you at now?
Well, it's hard to say in terms of fundraising. We're doing really well at fundraising. I mean, certainly the pandemic really had a huge impact on our ability to limiting our fundraising, like it did with all nonprofits.
Yes.
But in terms of financially, we're several $100,000 towards that end. I would say that we're stepping up. We just came off in September. We had our second annual golf tournament. It was very, very successful.
Good.
The support we're getting from the community is really, really critical, and it's also really encouraging. This is a really dark subject matter, and it's hard to have an authentic discussion about it because people are very uncomfortable
of course they are.
When you speak about the actual facts and the realities of situations. And this gives them most people come away from having a discussion about human trafficking when they understand about it. You're deeply moved, and you feel that you have to do something. And that with Beacon Bags and our fundraising efforts, we're trying to energize that community. It's like, we want to turn that anger and frustration into mobilization and doing something about it, and provide the tools and the outlet locally on a local level so that you can do that.
Have you secured any land yet for the build? Yes,
we have. We've got property that has been that we've secured, and most of the approvals have been taken care of.
Good.
We've still got some logistics that we're working through, but we're also working with a builder designer that once we have all of the final T's crossed and the I's dotted, that we can kind of move towards, working towards building the road into the site and begin that process. We're really excited because we're coming up on that very shortly.
Wow. I mean, you're quite a along on this. I didn't realize that you were at this particular point right now. Is it going to be centrally located?
Yeah, it's going to be located in Leeds and Grenville.
Good. Yeah. Well, it should be. Yeah. Okay. What would you like to say to people that are not aware of Beacon Bags, are not aware of what is being done for these individuals that are being trafficked? What do you want to say to these viewers? It's a really dark subject, as I mentioned, and there are some really good resources. So when recently there was a film that was out, The Sound of Freedom. And I engage with people a lot that say, when they know what I do, and they ask me if I know about that film, and of course I do. But even that film is not a true representation of the trafficking that we see here in Canada. But what it did, it certainly is what happens in Central and South America, where young children are kidnapped and held, like all of that absolutely is real, but it's not what we see here. But that film sparked an emotion in people, and it gave them an opportunity to feel it, see it, and realize, wow, this is bigger than I thought. So I encourage people to spend some time finding some resources. There's some great resources online on YouTube and other things. Engage with someone like ourselves, locally, Beacon Bags, and find out, if you hear about there's going to be an education or an awareness session somewhere, go and listen to the speakers and find out how you can get involved, whether it be a volunteer or just as a donor, or just somebody that gives us moral support in one way, shape, or form or another. But there's a place for everybody to actually do something, turn that outrage into action, and do something about it. Very well said. So if there is someone out there who wants to help, become a board member, give monetarily, what do they do?
You can reach out to us at Beacon Bags. Denise March is our executive director in particular, and we have a Facebook social media presence, which is Beacon Bags Ontario, and or our website, beaconbags.ca, and there's a good description there and contact information, how either through email or through social media you can reach out to us, and we can kind of engage from that way.
Awesome. Thank you for sitting down with me.
My pleasure. Thank you.
I know it's a very hard and difficult subject, but it is something that it is in our backyard. So please do look into this, and once again, think about these girls and boys and what is happening to them. We'll be right back.